So Jamie Dimon, check this out. America's most powerful banker issues ominous warning about the U.S. economy. Jamie Dimon warned that a hard landing for the U.S. economy is possible, noting could we actually see one, of course, and expressed concerns about stagflation, which he described as the worst outcome, which inflation, rising high unemployment, and slow growth. He remarked the odds have been higher than other people think, and noted similarities to the 1970s economic conditions. Dimon highlighted ongoing economic challenges, stating unemployment has been below 4% now for a year and a half or 2 years, and added that despite a potential recession, consumers are in pretty good shape. However, he warned that inflation is stickier than people think and suggested that interest rates might still increase a little bit due to persistent fiscal and monetary stimulus. Okay, this is the same guy that just announced that he will be retiring fairly soon. Not something that he is, his timetable isn't 5 years anymore. It's a lot shorter than that. He's 68 years old. I mean, some people at one point were talking about potentially this guy running for president. This guy's a pretty heavyweight guy.
I'd vote for him.
What do you think about Jamie, and what do you think about what he's saying with the economy?
I always think, and I'll ask you a question with this, I always think that no matter how good you are as an economic animal, trying to predict something with that many moving parts over a period of time is always you're always going to fall short in one way or another. And so I think when you are an investor, you should always assume, err on the side of caution and assume everything's going to go to shit. That's why you hedge your bets. But so I always, no matter who it is, even if it's Jamie Dimon, I'm going to listen to it, but I'm probably going to take it with at least a grain of salt. I'm not saying he's not right, but really trying to predict something with that many moving parts, an organism as complex as the U.S. economy, which is I don't know how many trillions of dollars. Think about that. What is it? A $5 trillion economy? Do you know how long ago? You know how long ago a billion seconds was? 32 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, so a trillion seconds, I think, is 32,000 years ago. That would be how much $1 trillion is. Just think about that for a sec, okay? So that's a trillion seconds, okay? That's how much money $1 trillion is. So you're dealing with a huge thing. So let me ask you this question. You've done very well as you're an economic animal, man. And how right have you been in your predictions?
51%.
Thank you.
Oh, well, you can't.
Thank you.
No way.
Thank you for that honest answer.
No way.
And you're a smart dude who's has made his money.
No, I mean, to me, everything is like, look, obviously what I know I can bet on that I have 90% confident in is whatever I operate. Anything I operate, I got confident in, okay? So if anybody thinks the future doesn't look bright, is because you don't have confidence in your ability to work, improve, and strategize. If somebody is willing to work, treat people fairly, work their asses off, keep trying to find ways to recreate themselves and improve them, it's impossible for you not to be optimistic about the future. I don't know if that makes sense. The number
100%.
one step
100%.
of where confidence for a person should be coming from, that everything's going to work itself out, is in your abilities to improve and figure things out. That's one. Two, let's talk finances, things we have no control over. Remember how I said there's a handful of people that are part of you can't figure them out, like where they are, and I said Comey's one of them? This is one thing that's happened the last 4 years with the economy that's kind of weird. Almost every single time we've ever printed money, gold's gone up. And not by a little bit. It's gone up a lot, right? Every time we print money. This time around we printed money, gold didn't go up. Now, I had Dan Bongino on here yesterday, and we're having a conversation with him. He said, well, because the money that would typically go to gold as an asset class went to Bitcoin, which he may not be wrong, by the way. Okay? He may not be wrong. Because Bitcoin now as a market cap itself is $1 trillion market cap. Wow. So what if there was no Bitcoin? Where does that money go to? Where do libertarians typically put their money?
Gold, huh?
In gold. So it's an interesting breakdown to see. Again, the last few years, it's been so fast. It's hitting so fast that we're watching and thinking, man, this is exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. And it hasn't happened yet. The other one that's kind of complicated is the following. Mortgage rates have been high. 7%? For how long now? A year and a half? That the rates haven't gone up? And they haven't lowered them? Whatever the timeline is? How come there's not been a crash in real estate yet? Mm-hmm. Why is that? Why haven't properties dropped 25% or 20%?
Right.
And you know what's one of the things that, the argument that we brought up yesterday? is, hey, when you print as much money as that we printed in the last few years, that money's in something.
It's in circulation.
So maybe everything just went up 40%. So even if there's a crash, maybe right now we are experiencing a 40% crash, but we don't see it and feel it because there's 40% more money circulating in the marketplace. Maybe we are having a 40% crash. These are the things that ever since we started printing money in 2008 the way we did, and now it's become a habit, the way of measuring and predicting the economy has changed drastically.
So interesting.
So that's the part where, Ray Dalio's been saying for how many years when he wrote when did Ray Dalio write Principles? When did we read Principles? 5 years ago? Was it 1920? What year would you say?
Love him.
You know how many years he's been saying the next Great Depression is on its way?
Yeah.
This is a $20 billion guy saying the great next Depression is on its way. He's been wrong for how many years now?
He's been wrong for, that's what I said.
He's also the guy that said cash is no longer king in 2019.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, all of a sudden cash is king.
You know what I like about him, though? The one thing I took from him, he goes, can't beat the market. I beat the market for a long time, can't beat the market. Just keep that in mind over the long haul.
If I can add to this,
Yeah.
when these people make these sort of predictions or give sort of their forecast, I always ask two things. What's their level of credibility and who's their loyalty to? We talked about the loyalty with Trump a second ago. So, all right, let's go through the list. Ray Dalio, high credibility, loyalty, Bridgewater Capital. Okay, he's one of the top hedge fund guys in the world. You have someone like Jamie Dimon, high credibility. Who's his loyalty to? Chase Bank of America.
Yeah.
Then you have other guys like, all right, so Robert Kiyosaki, he makes predictions all the time. Who's his loyalty to? To his brand. He's also selling books, courses.
Yeah.
He kind of predicts doomsday type stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have these extremists like, what's that? Harry Dent, this guy. He came out in 2023. This year, mark my word, it's all going 90%. It's done. It's over. He's a complete doomsday economic prepper type of guy. Yeah, the economy, the stock market was up 25%. Where you at, Harry? So,
but there are crashes.
You talked
all
about
the
these
time,
but crashes is different.
Yeah.
50% crash, 25% crash is different. 90%. He said. Do you remember that? Was that the number?
Yeah.
So what's there? You talk about snake oil salesmen. We just talked about in the last segment. Yeah. There's people that you can trust. There's people that have loyalty, credibility. I don't know where.
I think it goes back to the same thing. People that are like, Gary Brecka, he had a problem with at the beginning, right? We're going back in for why? Because it's like, I know. Yeah. Boom. It's like, that's the problem. So there's some people like that in finance as well. No, look, the key in life is, man, you ain't going to get all your decisions right. Everything in life is like shooting free throws.
Yeah.
You just want to keep going up. 60% of the time, you're right with your parenting style. 70%, 80%.
Yes.
If you're in the 60 to 80% mark, you're doing good. You're getting better in life. But that's not.
You can make a lot of money selling.
You're gonna. But this is the.
I was a 90% guy.
Think about it. Were you really?
Yeah.
Really?
Free throw shooter. Yeah.
You were a 90% free throw.
Yeah, not a great 3-point shooter.
Wow.
Patrick, the question is, who was in your
throw?
face when you were taking those shots?
Yeah, I mean, listen, my elbow was on the side.
Free throw, no.